All right, look, if you're feeling broke or exhausted or generally overwhelmed by the oppressive nature of the holidays, you might like this episode. This is Laugh Cry DIY. I am Katie, and on this channel during the holidays, we laugh with our friends, we cry at our bank accounts, and we try to DIY our way through it all. So today we are going to make 3 gifts that are DIYs mixed with thrifted items because we want to be sustainable, we want to be on a budget, and most importantly, we want to uphold the standards of society and provide obligatory gifts to our kids' teacher and our new stepmom and our parole officer. So everything we're making today is pretty easy to source from a thrift store. It's pretty easy to assemble. You can make a lot of them in batches if you have a few gifts you need to give to different people. And the supplies are easy to get and pretty budget friendly. And some of these are kind of classic gifts, but we're gonna put a little bit of a fancy twist on them to elevate them so that they look a little bit more handmade versus homemade, if that makes sense. All right, let's go thrifting. Massive wall decor. Really wish I needed it right now, but $4.99. Okay, if you have a friend who likes things, get them the perfect vintage Pyrex that is completely intact and only $12.99. I will be getting this from my friend Paige, who collects vintage Pyrex. Good luck for you forever finding such a perfect piece at this price point, perfectly intact. Okay, so here's the thing. When you are thrifting for gifts, you can totally thrift straight off the rack and just give somebody something that you straight up just found on the streets of the thrift store, which I think is fine. But there are also ways that you can just grab some stuff and then kind of enhance it by adding something, DIYing with it, or just packaging it really beautifully. And whatever I get people, I always want to make sure is helpful and or functional or can maybe serve multiple purposes. Gifting culture is insane. I seriously would rather get nothing or one thing than a billion things I just don't need. It creates clutter. It's super annoying. I don't want to give people stuff they're not going to use or stuff that they're thanks so much. This goes in my cupboard until I feel annoyed enough to actually throw it away. So a few things. Number one, I like giving people something that they wouldn't get themselves because sometimes maybe it's a little bit too fancy than what they would normally get. So this is one of my favorite ones. Go to the glass section, look for beautiful glass. Most importantly, this is the easiest gift. Thrift some really beautiful coupe glasses. Everybody has wine glasses. Hardcore drinkers may have martini glasses, but little coupe glasses are very glamorous, very fancy, very Gatsby. Very few people have them. And if you do this and you gift them with champagne or the ingredients for a beautiful, elegant champagne cocktail, it feels so fancy, or mocktail if they're sober. It feels so fancy and glamorous. And these right here, these are not just coupe glasses, these are actual crystal coupe glasses. Here's how you guys know if something's crystal and very fancy. Crystal and glass are different. Cut crystal is very fancy, and this is how you know. When you grab something that is just regular glass, you might know by looking at it, but you will be able to hear. Do you hear that? It's just flat. If it's actual crystal, you're gonna hear that nice bong sound, and that's how you know you have real crystal. Okay guys, new thrift store. There's specific things I'm looking for, but I just passed by this tin on the shelf and I was like, oh, I love this pattern, this kind of chinoiserie. And I was like, let me guess, it's a Target candle or something like that. And then I saw on the bottom, designed by Dar, Long Island, made in England. And I was like, let me just take a picture. Guys, this is a vintage tin box company. It's probably mid-century, completely random, but what a score, and you know I'm taking it. Alrighty, for this next one, you're gonna wanna find a really large, beautiful container with a lid, something that has ideally a lot of volume in the bottom. I'm going with this really outrageous crystal. I guess I'm in my crystal era. It's gonna be as dramatic as possible. Hear that ring from the crystal? That's how you know. And look, like I said, if you're just lazy and you just wanna buy something easy off the rack, giant bluebirds. They fit in every household. Everyone loves them. They're a traditional gift. They're a modern gift. They're $10. Okay, remember how 2 days ago I got that really dramatic crystal jar thing? I just saw this, and it's basically the same thing or same idea, but it's a tulip. It has a perfectly intact lid, and I'm gonna get it as well. I'm gonna get it because this always happens, right? You thrift something and then 2 days later you're like, kind of a slightly cooler version of it, or I don't know, whatever. I'm doing it, I don't care, goodbye. So here are my beauties, and in essence, these are all gonna basically work as vessels for the gifts, but there are a fun few ways we're gonna zhuzh them up, add some things, and make these not only cute, but functional, and also give people something that they can use after the fact. And to start, we're gonna work on these champagne glasses. So we have these coupe glasses. They're already really cute. I love these. Like I said, you can just package these with champagne and a little cocktail recipe, call it a day. But I kind of want to make these a little bit more dramatic, and I want to make them kind of a cool thing to bring to a hostess. So we're going to do something very fun, very simple, and we're just going to turn these into little mini succulent plant holders. Now to do this, you're going to need a few things. Dirt, ever heard of her? You're going to need some sand or some like rocks, and of course you need your succulents. By the way guys, this here, I guess said I'm in my crystal era. Oh my God, it didn't want to live. Anyway. Guys, I thrifted this cute little crystal, like little nuts and olives tray. It's also a very cute thing. Just throw some little pre-made succulents on there and bring that as a little hostess gift. Now, succulents are a very easy plant to keep alive. So if the hostess wants to keep them alive, she can repot them. Or she can do what I do, which is eventually kill them all, and then you get to drink champagne to celebrate their life and their death. Anyways, when you're planting succulents, you don't want to just plant them in something that doesn't have drainage, that you need a little bit of drainage below. So you need to create a little layer of sand or rocks to start. ASMR. Now, one note, you can also do this with champagne glasses, anything that's deep. You just wanna make sure that it is kind of deep enough to be able to actually fit the succulent, but luckily, we are fine. So then, just like Christina Aguilera, you wanna get dirty and you wanna get those succulents planted in. Now it looks lovely as it is, but I think it's really kind of nice and it like really gives a finished look if you add rocks or even sand back on top. And something I think is really cool is when people actually add crystals to their little succulent gardens. Now, I don't have enough crystals to spare, but I do have a piece of purple ribbon I'm gonna add to this, and I really wished I had like amethyst. So you guys know what I did? I took these regular little rocks and then I threw them in a plastic bag with some food coloring, and guys, I dyed them purple. So I'm gonna do a mix of both on top. Ooh la la. And now you just have to tie a ribbon on them and call it a day. Next up, Crystal Queen. I already bought that other piece, but I'm gonna save it for something else, I think. I'm gonna use her for this project. And basically, I'm a bath girl. I'm a bath queen. I love all things that are like bath accoutrement. And I think it's really beautiful, even if you just have a simple glass jar in your bathroom filled with beautiful salts. It's a lovely kind of self-care ritual thing. But I am beyond salts now. I'm getting into bath teas, which are basically giant ass bath tea bags that you can pop in the bath, soak it all up, and also all the stuff that's in it doesn't have to like float out and get all over your bathtub. So we're gonna make a variety of bath teas. And what you need for this is these really cool, very sustainable little muslin bath tea bags. These are 4x6. I'll have them linked below. They were like 10 bucks for like 50. It's such a great reusable piece. Like every part of this is reusable, which I really love. And then you just gotta get some really simple supplies. Epsom salt, powdered milk, oatmeal, and a variety of skin-friendly flowers and herbs. So you can do lavender, you can do calendula, you can do roses, anything that's like beautiful and sweet. This is a nice little mix I picked up elsewhere. You're also gonna wanna get some baking soda. You can also get your essential oils that you like. It's really a mix it up, DIY, whatever you're feeling kind of thing. Now to mix these up, why not use my own vintage Pyrex bowls? I can't believe I found that piece of Pyrex from my friend. I'm sorry guys, if you haven't watched my vintage Pyrex collecting video, I will also have it linked below. This particular pattern is my family pattern, Autumn Harvest, introduced in 1980. I found these at a garage sale recently, and because it's my mother's pattern, I knew it was meant to be. So really, there's a million recipes online of how to make these, what ratios go. In general, I just kind of do a 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup thing. And today I'm going to make 2 batches. One is going to be the lavender herb glamour, and one is going to be a simple like oatmeal and milk, because I have a friend who hates lavender more than anything on earth. But to start, I'm gonna hit them both with a cup of Epsom salt. Next, I'm gonna add a cup of oatmeal to both, but I'm gonna blend it before it goes in so that it's a nice powder. Next, we're doing a cup of powdered milk. You can add it to both, but I wanna keep this one more milky and this one a little bit more like not milky. Next, you're gonna wanna add a quarter cup, half cup of baking soda. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't know why baking soda helps. If you know the science, please let us know below. And for this bad boy, we're gonna stir her up. And once those are mixed, then I'm gonna blend in our beautiful herbs. Now again, consider skin sensitivities, blah, 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 but a nice kind of safe mix is usually like a lavender, calendula, things like that. Now because as I mentioned, my friend doesn't like lavender, for hers, that mix has actually a lot of lavender in it. So instead, I'm gonna take some calendula from my little apothecary cabinet, which you guys may have remembered that I made a few months ago so that I could do like witchy things like this and have really cute stuff. So pretty. Now, like I mentioned, I do wanna do a lavender scent on this one, so I'm gonna just pop in a few drops to make sure she smells real nice. Guys, this is so witchy, I love it. I love it. You could even just put this alone in the container with like a cute scooper, but it does tend to make the bath a little bit messy, so it's better, in my opinion, to actually package them. Package time. I'm just gonna create a really loose funnel with some paper and tape. We're tearing, we don't care. Now, people say a half cup is good. I like to do more like 3/4 full. I think that's a nice one because it's pretty hefty, and then when you tie it up, it's still like a little bit loose. Now, lavender is such a strong scent. I'm gonna get a different cup, a different cone, and a different scooper so that my friend stays lavender free. And to be clear, she's not allergic, she just hates it. And that's okay. Oh, and by the way that you can use these is you can either throw them straight up in the bath or hang them on top of your faucet as the hot water is running, then it'll like steep through it, which is good to know. Now, a really cute thing to do is to get a fresh flower like a lavender, tie it on the top, and we're good to go. All right, friends, and lastly, we are going to repurpose this beautiful, gorgeous, stunning vintage tin into a really cute, fancy candle. Now, originally, I'm really into giant candles right now. That can be like really large vessel or like really long with multiple wicks. So I had actually been looking for a sort of deep serving tray at multiple thrift stores, couldn't find it, but honestly, this is such a find, such a vibe. I would also recommend if you find any sort of cool, flat, shallow vessel that has a lid, super vibey. I mean, honestly, like if you bought this at Anthropologie, it'd be like 50 bucks. Anyways, so we're gonna turn her into a candle with some pizzazz. Now, if you're a girl, if you're a person who likes to DIY, please do yourself a favor, just keep a bag of wicks on hand. It's so great, you can repurpose all sorts of candles, candle vessels, candle jars. Best thing I ever did was buy myself some wicks. You're also gonna wanna grab some chopsticks. Chopsticks are my #1 best friend in DIY, they will be yours too. So we are gonna start by gluing in the wicks. Now, this is important. When you're DIYing your own candles, you need to make sure that you have enough wicks in there so that it will actually burn. So this is what the internet says. If a vessel is 3 inches wide, 1 wick. For every inch after that, you're gonna add a wick. So this is about, I'm gonna say 5 inches. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3 wicks. And you wanna space them about 1 inch apart. It's also important to know what the bottom looks like so that you're able to actually do that. And we're just gonna do that with some simple, good old fashioned hot glue. That looks about right. And you're gonna wanna make sure that they stand up straight. So you're just gonna grab some simple chopsticks, loop those bad boys around. This may take a little bit of effort because you wanna make sure that they're nice and taut and tight. We've made candles on the channel before, I think twice. You can check out those videos too if you want. There's also some other cute ideas for like dip dyed candles, things like that. And presuming they are long enough, it's also nice to tape the wicks like just down to the side, just so that they stay taut and they don't cause more problems. If you guys have any other tips for candles, please comment below. Would love to hear your tips and tricks and hacks. Ta-da! Now, for the wax, you can buy wax. You can buy wax kits. You can do all sorts of things. One super easy hack is to just buy dollar store candles. This is from a dollar store. This is another one. This is an old candle I have that I've just barely used. These are super low cost, super easy. You can even steal the wick inside them if you want. Also, they are unscented. And when you're giving a gift, I honestly think it's a good idea to give unscented because you want the ambiance, but people are so scent sensitive, and we have all received a candle or a perfume or something or a lotion that we were like, let's put this in the trash immediately because it's trying to kill me with its horrible scent. And to melt them down, we're gonna put them into a pot of water, but we're gonna put them in first and let it heat up with the glass so you're not just putting glass in and it's shattering and ruining your life. I may add a little more water in. You wanna make sure that the water is not going to submerge the pieces because then it'll ruin your wax. Oh, also, this is a great way to get rid of candles, such as this one, which shall not be named, that has 0 scent. I actually bought it for the scent and has no scent throw, and so it's a good way to reuse that wax as well. And now we wait for years and years and years. Okay, so I did mix 2 colors there. That was a white and that like pinkish one that I actually had put the wax in. I thought I would need more wax, I don't. So we're just gonna let it dry as it is. And we are going to see what color that dries as. But this is super easy, super quick. So let's just let it dry. Ooh la la, beautiful, gorgeous pink. We are going to snip off these wicks. And you think you'd be done with her as she is, but no, we want to zhuzh her up a little bit more, make her a little bit more glamorous and elegant. So we are actually going to add some beautiful flowers on top. These are great projects because you can use the flowers and herbs from one to sass up your candles in the other. So we are going to actually melt the top layer of this candle with a hairdryer so that we can re-dampen the wax so that we can press in the flowers in a really pretty way. Also, when you're making candles at home, if you're not a pro candle maker, maybe the wax was weird, maybe the temperature was off. You can always hit it with a hot hairdryer to re-even the surface, although this dried pretty well. But I was looking at the colors here, this beautiful blue chinoiserie, and I was looking for flowers in my stash that would complement that nicely. So what I have is a blue butterfly pea flower, and we have some yellow calendula. I just think it pops really nicely with the pink and the blue. All is beautiful. And to do that super easy, you're just gonna take your hairdryer, hit the top. And as she's like that, you can lightly press in to the melted wax portion. And it may be a little bit imperfect. You may wanna kinda toss things around, get the placement right. But I think a little kind of like half moon on the side can just make it really pretty. You want to make sure, of course, that you're like watching these correctly as they burn because it will melt into the wax, but just like a nice little sprinkle is just really pretty. And you may want to go back over with the hairdryer just to hit little pieces, just to make sure the surface looks pretty smooth, but just a really pretty little add to zhuzh it up. Now we're gonna let her dry, but I just want to point out, you can do this with so many different vessels. This is a vintage like 1930s piece of carnival glass that I inherited from my grandmother. And you know what I did? I also turned her into a beautiful candle that I have not lit yet, but so beautiful, such a cool way to use like vintage antique vessels, and so pretty anywhere you put her. And now we have come so far on our journey that I think it is finally time for your guys' grand reveal. Well, my dears, here we are with all of our lovely gifts. I'm not gonna lie, I love these so much, I'm not gonna give them away. But I will be taking a bath and drinking champagne and lighting my way to a happier holiday. So I hope you guys have gotten some good thrifty inspo. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe. You can sign up for my newsletter, which is also linked below. I'm always thrifting and DIYing and doing everything that cheap whores do. So thanks for hanging out with me this week, guys. I love you. Bye.